Hey guys, this is HVAC Whisperer here. Bear with me, this is my first YouTube video, but I'm just trying to help everyone out there and want to make some useful HVAC videos to help anyone that's out there and on the roof, in the field, on a service call. And I thought that, this would be a good start. Today I'll be talking about the York Johnson Controls Smart System Equipment Controller. And it's a very common fault code that we usually see on the screen here. Which is HS1 off due to limit switch. Okay, now this board is constantly monitoring the limit circuit. When I'm talking limit circuit, I'm talking about the heating limit circuit, and which includes only the primary limit switch and the auxiliary limit switch. It does not include the rollout. Okay. And that is, it's constantly monitoring that limit circuit if it's, even if it's an idle, always. Cooling, heating, idle, whatever it's doing. Okay, so I should always be seeing 24 volts on this limit terminal over here, all right? Actually, now that I say 24 volts, we're probably going to be looking to more towards like the 26, 27 volts, all right? 24 is maybe a little bit, on the threshold, and then you're going to be going into the lower side of the voltage, where you're going to be actually causing a low voltage drop, caused by a low voltage drop. All right, so now I want to just talk about some common reasons and common causes of why we usually see this HS1 off due to limit switch popping up on our screen here. First one being, we usually on 208, 230 volt units, you gotta make sure that you're tapped into the right tap on the transformer. So if your incoming voltage is closer to 208, make sure you're tapped into 208. Closer to 240, tap into 240. All right, and that will definitely change your secondary voltage drastically. Okay, if you tapped into the wrong side, you're gonna probably be seeing you'll probably be on the lower side of the 24 volt circuitry, probably reading around 23.5, 23, 24, maybe even 24 and a half. But that's still quite low. I mean, it might just take a contactor to pull in, and maybe if the coil is a little resistive, it'll draw a little too many amps, and it'll drop that voltage simultaneously, something that you probably won't even see with your meter, maybe to like 18 volts. Okay, and it's going to cause a trip. It's going to cause this limit terminal to think that it's losing voltage. Okay, now just something real quick here I forgot to mention was that if you lose 24 volts on this terminal 3 times in 1 hour is when this board will start will lock out all the outputs over here. Okay, for your cooling and for your heating, and it'll just start displaying HS1 off to the limit switch. All right, so 1 time, 2 times, it's going to forgive you. It won't lock out. It'll let the heating circuit lock out, but 3 times in 1 hour, you're done. Complete hard lockout from the main board over here, okay? And like I said, a nuisance lockout could be something like that. So if you drop to 18 volts, it's going to count as 1, probably. And then if it does it again and another and again and again in the same hour, same thing. Same thing can happen. Maybe just because you have a limit switch that's corroded, or maybe some terminals are corroded, wire that's corroded, highly resistive, causing a voltage drop to ground, grounded limit. Something like that could also be causing voltage drops coming back to this limit switch and causing you nuisance fault trips when it's causing the board to lock out an HS1 off to the limit. So if you have corroded limits, change them. Corroded wires, change them. Corroded terminals, change them. All right. Now, another thing I want to say is HS1 off due to limit is a limit switch open. Okay, so obviously you also have, I would highly recommend you do your delta T from your supplier for your return, and make sure you're within the range, and what it says on the rating plate for your delta T. And if you are, then I'd probably start looking at these other things. Okay, if your supply air is getting over 140 degrees Fahrenheit, you're probably looking, at the higher end of the stick. Okay, there are some other codes that the board will the board will probably soft lockout on. Like I think the code was excessive supply air temperature. Okay, and I'll make a separate video about that just to keep these videos a bit short. Sticking to the HS1 off to the limit here, that's what it is. This limit here, this terminal over here is losing 24 volts 3 times in 1 hour, and it's locking out on HS1, and then it'll hard lock on HS1 off to the limit. All right. If you've exhausted all your options, you know, it's not corroded limits, it's not a contactor that's highly resistive and it's pulling too many amps, it's not the transformer, only other thing that I can think of is maybe trying something. It could be something like a short in your thermostat wire, maybe your thermostat itself. If that's all done, you know, the last thing I'd probably condemn is the board. Sometimes, unfortunately, it is the board. I know these are expensive, but sometimes it's something internal on the board and we can't really do anything about it. You could try and attempt a firmware update at that point where, you know, you've lost all your other options. You could try and update the firmware and see if that will help. But at the end of the day, if it's the board, then it's the board. Okay, so that's it, guys. Thank you very much for listening. I hope I helped somebody out here today. And please subscribe to my YouTube channel. This is my first video and I'm starting out here, and I hope to post more videos to help you guys out. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. I'll make sure to get it back to everybody. Thank you very, very much again, and stay safe out there. Good luck.